Okay, I guess it's okay to start now. Uh, is the sound clear? Can you hear me well?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great, thank you. So let's start. Thanks to everyone who came to my talk, and today I will be talking about transparency in animation production. My name is Konstantin Dmitriev, and I'm heading a small animation studio called Morevna Project. This is an experimental project where we produce an animation using free and open source software, and we adopting values and principles of open source software world in animation production. We're looking how we can adopt and what outcomes we can get. And well, at this slide you can see the animated short produced by our studio, and you can watch them on our official website. The URL is here, and just like open source software, we're distributing our works under open licenses, Creative Commons attribution and attribution share alike. But in today's talk I would like to focus on one specific aspect which is common from open source world, which is naturally common from open source world, and in some meaning this aspect is at foundation of open source. This is a concept of transparency. In our studio we apply transparency to our work in 4 aspects. First of all, the first aspect is very similar to open source software, is that we distribute source files of our animation work so they can be examined, modified, or well, or changed. Well, that's the same as modified. Anyway, okay. So we distributing not just the animation, but also all source files and instructions how to work with them. In some aspect, well, this is this is simply can be translated from software development world to animation production, because in software development we have process of compilation binary file from source code, and we have a similar process in animation production. We have source file, project files, which is used by artists, and then it is usually rendered to some video form which is suitable for watching. This is like a binary form in software development world. So the analogy is pretty much simple here. It is quite natural to translate this aspect of open source software development to animation production, and they even have our own build system, which is called RenderChan. This is a mascot of this software. This is similar. This is a build system for animation projects, something like Make or Ninja or CMake or well, SCons in software development, but this tool RenderChan is specifically for animation, and the important difference is that it is able to detect dependencies in project files automatically. You don't need to write a special rules like you have to do in CMake or scons, etc. The second aspect of transparency which we apply to production is transparent budget. Our studio is purely dependent on donations from community, and it's very important to keep community aware how we use the funds. And here I would like to show you how we use Open Collective platform for that. Let me enable a screen demonstration. Okay. Hello. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And right now you can see a page of our studio at Open Collective platform, where you can see all financial transactions that are going in our studio. First of all, you can see all contributors who contributed to our studio, to our company. And below you can see a balance. Don't be surprised that it's small right now, because I'll explain this a bit later. You can see total amount raised, and you can see all transactions that have been made. Okay, it's best to switch to transactions and view all transactions. Here you can see expenses submitted by community members, by studio team, and see where the money go for each particular project. Well, let's get back to this page, and here I'm going to explain why the balance is so small. That's because we have many projects made by our studio, and the budget is distributed to those projects, so well, to make the funds separated. So because people usually donate for specific purpose, and they would like those funds to be spent for this particular purpose, and we do not want to mix the funds. So if we will look at the project, this is like a subfolder, subdirectory, and here we have the same page for this specific project, and we can see the balance currently allocated for this project, and you can see transactions specific for this particular project. And also you can see for another project, here we will have other transactions like this. And also another very cool thing about Open Collective, it's not only the abilities to split your budget to projects, but also that people can donate to specific projects. They can donate for the whole studio, for general purpose, or they can choose the target of their donation. And that way we will know how they would like to their donation to be used. This is very cool about this platform. And okay, I can stop sharing. And now let's go to the next aspect of transparency. Next is transparent task management. We came to this just because it's not well, if we will show budget transparently, sometimes it's just not enough to write that we have spent for animation production in this month. We would like to be even more transparent. We would like to show how the animation production is actually going. So we have implemented a transparent task management. So all our production tasks for specific animated movies, animated shorts, are can be, well, they are public. And I was investigating for some time how to for a specific tool which can give us transparent task management, and surprisingly the best in my opinion tool the best tool in my opinion is turned to be discourse form software, which we are using at this moment. Again, I will switch to screen sharing mode, and here is our community hub, where we can see categories, and those categories are specific animated shorts that are in production right now. And well, for example, let's see, for episode 4, and we have subsections, subcategories, when we can see well, for example here, tasks for each shot. And well, let's take a look at for example at this shot. Okay, let's scroll it. We can see the task. Well, sorry for Russian, but most of our team are Russians, but I guess it's no problem to use some tool like Google Translate. Anyway, text is not the main thing in here, because the main thing usually are pictures. So it is possible to see work in progress for each particular shot of the animation. For example, we can see here this shot. We can see how it is transformed.
И где же там мой маленький рыжий помощник?
We can see changes, discussions, and here goes edit, and here goes the final version.
И где же там мой маленький рыжий помощник?
Well, sometimes well, yeah, let me show you from other episode something. Okay, here we have separate categories for artwork and animation. Well, here tasks separated by type of task. And well, let's see this one. A lot of stuff here. Here this is source task definition, and we can see.
Мне нужно, чтобы работать всю ночь напролёт и сварить самое лучшее зелье для завтрашнего соревнования.
And we can see this task at different stages. Here is the colored. So this is a great for community to see how things are going, and here we have completed tasks with a check mark, assigned, etc. So Discourse turned to be a very cool tool for managing tasks transparently. Of course, if it took some time to figure out how to use it specifically for our workflows, and we're still in progress of changing things, but well, so far it goes pretty well. And finally, one more aspect of transparency is also doing live streams. We have a YouTube channel where for people who would like to dive even deeper into into the process, into our production, they can watch our live streams where our artists are working in real time, and people can ask questions. They can watch how they work, how the process is organized, how really things are done. And this also is also another level of transparency. And finally, I would like to finish my talk with answering last question. So what it actually gives to our studio by what we've got by introducing a principle of transparency to our production. And here are the answers. First of all, that's about trust. For a studio like ours, which is 100% is funded by community, that you probably understand, you definitely understand that it's all about trust. If people see how funds are used, how they are distributed, how work is done, how much of effort it gets, it's surely it well, it helps to maintain and build trust. And another aspect is education, because people can see how things are done. They people who interested in animation, they can watch how professional artist is working and how things are how things are done, and they can see problems that we're facing at how they are solved. And that's also related with community growth, because this publicity helps to attract new potential candidates to who can become core team members, or someone who can help solve particular tasks, etc. And this also a motivation for our core team, for our community, because the publicity gives also it's a two-way process. It's not just showing, it's also receiving a feedback, it's also receiving words of support. It greatly motivates team members. And finally, another last thing is popularization. It helps us to demonstrate the power of open source, the principles of open source, and show how it works to people, and to show that it really works, and that open source tools can be used for this kind of tasks, that open source principles can be used for this specific area for animation production. That's it. Well, that's all, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.